Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and a quick update on the Odessa Front. Particularly, we're talking about the Snake Island. So a lot of you commented on the summary for the previous previous day for the 29th June, saying that no, I purposely did not want to cover this. This thing, it happens on the 30th. Happen on the 30th. It doesn't happen on the 29th. So, which is why it's not in the summary. So feeling silly, right? So, and I also didn't read about it because yesterday, after I did all the updates, I went to sleep. I went to nap because I was so tired. Then I wake up immediately. I do the update and I went out for football. So I didn't see the thing. So I only first saw it in the comments, and then now I'm going to do this quick update for you guys. So just trust me. Okay, so there is shelling reported at Snake Island between 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. So massive artillery strikes were carried out using Tushka-U, and I believe there's definitely more than Tushka-U. Probably also the artilleries, those barrel base, probably around the shore here, and that forces the Russian to make a decision to just simply leave the island. So the Ministry of Defense of Russia make a statement. So they say that on the 30th of June, which is yesterday, as a goodwill gesture, this is a very they should have just like don't say this word. They said that they finished their fulfilled assigned task in Snake Island and withdrew the garrison that had been operating there. This is so Ukrainian. This sounds exactly just like how the Ukrainians describe they completed their mission in Mariupol. And I can tell you, this entire statement from the Ministry of Defense pisses off a lot of the pro-Russian analysts and Telegram channel owners. Yeah, they are very disappointed with the lack of ability to do information warfare, and they admit that Ukrainians are just better at information warfare. So anyway, yeah, this is cringy as hell. So the Russians then say that they say that the Russian Federation demonstrated to the international society that the absence of any obstacles for the effort of the UN to establish humanitarian corridor to transport agricultural products from Ukraine. I will explain what all this means. So this solution will prevent Kiev from speculating on impending grocery crisis, citing the inability to export grain due to total control of the northwestern part of Black Sea. So where's the Black Sea? This is the Black Sea. This is the Black Sea. Northwestern part is here. So they are referring to that. And now it's up to the Ukrainian side that is still not clearing the Black Sea coastline, including the harbor water. So this is some horrible English from the English Ministry of Defense of Russia channel. And then the Ministry of Defense of Russia, the Russian version, actually shared a Telegram post from another channel called, I think, some like destroy the fake or something like that. So like that channel is all about correcting fake news. So I believe that. So for me, I say I list it as a Russian linked, government linked Telegram channel because it looks so government to me. So they say that they say it's fake that the Russian troops left Zemeny Island because they are unable to withstand the attack of the Ukrainian armed forces, which is wrote by all the Western media, mainstream medias, New York Times. So he said that the truth is that the smoke are coming from the destruction of the equipment and ammunition. This is reported, including from Ukrainian sources. They say that this island is indeed of strategic importance, but at the same time, it has fulfilled its role to control the airspace. And given the constant attack of the Ukrainian armed forces, large resources spent on defending this island retention, they then he added the island is of a volcanic type, so practically there's no vegetation or shelter, so it's very difficult to keep it in conditions of open confrontation. So he said it's very hard to defend, and they said that the Russian garrison successfully withstood several attacks despite a regular information attack from the Ukrainian leadership, basically fake news. They say that there's not a single confirmed report of successful operation. So they say that the Ukrainians failed for every attack. And then according to the Ministry of Defense of Russia, the priority now is on the life of the soldiers and the officers of the armed forces. So which is why they have the decision to remove the garrison from the island to avoid losses. Then they saltily say the Ukrainians tried to make this into a victory, and with the help of international media, so whatever this is supposed to mean. And then the Ministry of Defense of Russia also noted that this step is to avoid provocation of the Ukrainians and accusations against the Russians for creating obstacle to the export of grain to the port of third countries. Yeah, a very salty explanation. And the worst part is this is shared by the Ministry of Defense of Russia. So I find this horrid. So anyway, so Rybar responded to this change in situation, which is the top, I will list them as the top Russian analyst, war analyst for this Ukraine war. They said that apparently at night, it was decided that they want to save personnel and equipment, so they leave the Snake Island. So he explained that after the transfer of French self-propelled gun, the Caesar, and the Tushka-U to the Odessa region, the density of the artillery fire from Odessa region increased several times. So 2 days ago, they described the tactics of the Ukrainians, which is to deplete the air defense of the armed forces on the island, which I also shared about this information from Rybar. And so the tactic worked. So today, it's physically not possible to control the island, which will be technically suicide. So in case you missed this detail, basically it was that the Ukrainians just randomly shelled the area of the Snake Island, and then the air defense system would have to constantly launch missiles to intercept all these rockets and missiles or even artillery shells, which then will cause them to use up all their ammos, and then that will leave the air defense system very vulnerable, and then they can be destroyed, which actually happened. So anyway, so the Russians are just unable to defend this island. So the next stage of the battle for the Snake Island is the destruction of the naval and airborne assault forces of the Ukrainians on the outskirts. Whatever this is supposed to mean. I believe this meaning is to prevent the Ukrainians from landing. So, and then he's very, very disappointed. So he said that they will not give a moral and ethical assessment to the statement of the Russian Ministry of Defense regarding the withdrawal of the contingent of the armed forces from Zemeny Island. In other cases, it's better to remain silent. So you can see how depressed and sad Rybar is in regard to this change of event. So in a different channel, this is from I forgot what channel is this. What channel is this? I forgot. Can I translate this? Special purpose channel. So okay, whatever. So that's a terrible name to. Okay, it's another channel. I happened to pounce upon this. They actually detailed all the things that had happened, so I can go through quickly. I will not repeat this in the summary though. So if you are here watching this, good for you. So he said that the headlines is about the Zemeny Island. So let's try to remember what happened since February 24th. So on the February 24th, which is the first day of this war or special operation, the Ukrainian forces that is on the island, up to 82 people, are captured by the Special Forces unit with support from the Black Sea Fleet. So So this is despite that the Ukrainian government actually say that everyone died fighting the island. They said that the Russians actually shelled the island and all these people died, but actually all of them was taken prisoner by the Russian forces. So 2 days later, they are already delivered. These captured servicemen were already delivered to Crimea. And on the 8th to 9th of March, the Russian servicemen captured Sapphire that was going to Snake Island. So the ship was hijacked over to Crimea. So after March to April, it became very quiet over at Snake Island. Then in the early of May the 2nd, suddenly everything changed because the Ukrainians actually launched attack using Bayraktar UAV on the Raptor boats near the island. And then two boats were destroyed, and several servicemen of the Russian side of the Black Sea Fleet was killed. Then they decided to bring in the Tor air defense system to the island, which immediately started destroying several UAVs. So, but then due to the lack of ammo, the Tor defense system was destroyed. So, and then another Tor defense system was brought in on the 6th, but it was destroyed while it was unloading. On the 7th, the Ukrainians launched a major offensive on the island, where the special forces, the SBU special forces, with the cover of the Air Force and UAV, carried landing. So, using the Mi-8 helicopters. So they have a firefight on the island. The Ukrainian side lost 15 to 17 people, and then the Russian special forces fought back on the island, and then they prevented the capture of this island. There is also losses reported on the Russian side. And when the Ukrainians evacuated, that means they did a retreat, 3 of the bodies was left behind. They were unable to evacuate all these 3 bodies. So which is why we saw all these the few photos of the Ukrainians that was on the island. And then on the same day, 2 more Raptors were hit by Bayraktar and the boat sank. On the 8th, which is the next day, the UAV destroyed the Russian Mi-8 that was on the island. But the Russians decided to further strengthen the defense of the island by sending a Pantsir and a Tor air defense system to the island. Then we saw the picture of a logistic vessel with a Pantsir 1 tied to this vessel. So like a makeshift surface-to-air missile system on this ship on the May 13th. Then, of course, in May, the Black Sea Fleet was actively operating around the island. So, while they are trying to raise the sunk vessels. Then on the 25th, May 25th, satellite images appears to show the Russians have deployed multiple air defense units on the island. On the 28th, we saw the images of the floating crane lifting up the sunk vessels. Then by 13th of June, there is up to 20 vehicles on the island. So the Russians did try their best to defend this island. And on the 17th, Vesely back, the tugboat was destroyed with 2 anti-ship missiles. This was recorded by Bayraktar UAV. And then there was this Project 22160 with installed Tor modules in the stern that was seen near the island on the 18th of June. On June 28th, the Pantsir 1 air defense system was destroyed. So that was a few days ago. While the Ukrainians started to strike this island with barrel artillery, namely the M777, and then after that we have this the Caesar that was here. So on the 30th, which is yesterday, the Ministry of Defense reported that the personnel have received the orders to leave the island, and it was so this one also added some saltiness to it. They say that the news was reported the wordings with this news was reported will remain on the conscience of the press service of the Moscow region. So they were quite pleased with the way how the statement by the MOD was worded. So that ended the 127 days of the Russian presence on this island. So very, very long-winded. So this quick update isn't really that quick, right? Yeah, so I am fake news. You shouldn't trust me. So so on the Ukrainian side, the armed forces of Ukraine plans to establish physical control over the island, according to the Deputy Chief of the Main Operational Directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. This is absolutely unnecessarily long. Never mind. Then so Alexei Gromov. So this is the plan. They wanted to establish control over the Snake Island. However, at the same time, the head of the press center of the Security and Defense Forces of the Operational Command South of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, which is also another unnecessarily long title, Natalia Gumeyuk, say that it's too early for Kiev to create an outpost on Zemeny Island. They say that they have to monitor the Russian behaviors in terms of grouping of ships, using of other force. So it's too early for them to form an outpost on Zemeny Island. In an interview with CNN, which is damn fast, right? Like the Western media reports everything so slowly, and then suddenly on this Zemeny Island they are so on the ball. They are even faster than me. So they said that their forces has not landed on the island just yet. So I want to, in front of you, I will delete this. It's because it's no longer Russian control. So the thing is, it's also not Ukrainian control. So I do not know why they celebrate so much. It's like you are celebrating a draw in a football match and thinking that you have won the football match. What is this? This is just a successful chase away of the Russian forces, making them really unable to hold this island. However, this does not constitute to a capture. This island is not categorically not captured by the Ukrainian forces. They only denied the Russians from holding positions on this island. This is not captured. So no one is holding this island. I bet that the Ukrainians do not dare to take the island either. But I predict that the Russians will be back on this island someday. So now to the analysis part. The Russian forces, why? So let me tell you my opinion of what actually happened. Most of the explanation by the Russian pro-Russian analysts, I think, is very accurate. And the main problem is not the Tushka-U, but the main problem is actually the barrel artillery, the 155mm artillery that was shelling this island. I think those are the main issue faced by the personnel defending the island, because while you can shoot down missiles, you cannot shoot down a shell. So 155mm shelling the island would make it really difficult. And if the reports of the reinforcement or like the Caesar artilleries are true, then the artillery shelling would indeed be too heavy, and I think the Russians have some trouble tracking all these artillery pieces along the coast. So they also have trouble trying to eliminate all this threat. And I'm sure that because this is a very rather forested area as well, it's not easy to track. And for those people that saying that the Russian Ministry of Defense saying the 155mm is able to hit the Snake Island, saying that the Russian Defense Ministry is lying. For these people, now you feel silly, right? Feel stupid, right? The Russian MOD indeed, I think they said the truth. The 155mm indeed are able to hit the island, and despite it's 35 kilometers away, it is still probably within range when they try to just fire further as far as they can. So it's very nearly probably their maximum range, but it managed to hit the island and they make it untenable to actually hold the island. However, this is also a trap. Because if you look at the Russian statement, they mentioned that now there is no longer any excuse for the Ukrainians to not export the grains, the wheat, from Odessa or any of these ports to the world. So the Ukrainians now, with so-called eliminated the threat on this island, they have now no more excuses to export through via the maritime trade routes to export all the grains. So the Russians also did say that it's now up to the Ukrainians to actually fulfill their duty to the world. And to fulfill this duty to the world, you have to demine all the waters around the coast, which is the trap. Because once the Ukrainians do that, then first, of course, they can export more easily, but at the same time, the Russians will be able to land amphibious landing without threats of naval mines. So it's a trap. If the Ukrainians, so the Russians actually put the Ukrainians in a difficult situation by withdrawing from the island. So now the Ukrainians will have to answer to the United Nations or the global community on why they still do not export the grains. And then the Russians can use this as a as a method to point fingers at the Ukrainians. But for the Ukrainians to do that, they will have to demine the coast, and when they demine the coast, that will actually open up opportunity for the Russians to do amphibious landing, because there's no more mines and it's easier to do an amphibious landing. So this is like a conundrum for the Ukrainians. So anyway, it's trapped, just like how the Star Wars meme goes. And I think this will be a bit difficult for the Ukrainians to handle. I think I personally would think that the Ukrainians will still continue to say that the Black Sea Fleet will be a threat, and they will not export through the ports to export the grains. They will continue to use the railways and whatever, because not just because they are afraid of a Russian landing, but also because they have already invested a lot. The partners in Moldova, in Romania, and perhaps even in Poland or Slovakia, they have already invested a lot in the railway refurbishment and building of new railways through Moldova, through Romania, to export all these Ukrainian exports, the grains and wheat and all these things. So should they start exporting through the port and stop using all these railway lines through Romania, you're going to piss off a lot of partners. So let's see what's gonna happen next. And then so this Snake Island story continues. I believe we will continue to see a sequel probably in a few months' time, when the Russians decided to expand the operation because Ukraine refused to surrender, and then we'll start to see battles in Mykolaiv Oblast or Odessa Oblast. So anyway, by then we'll probably talk more about it, but hopefully you get a wider picture on both the Russian Ministry of Defense side, the pro-Russian analyst side of the thoughts, as well as the Ukrainian side, what they are thinking about, as well as the DPA's thought, which is my thought about what is all this is about. And hopefully you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next update.